You're tuned to Off the Ball, the most petty and ill-informed sports programme on radio. You, the Storm in football, the Scottish Fan Awards, and your biggest crowd. I'm Ray Bradshaw, he's Tam Cowan, and you're tuned to the odd couple of Scottish football. Yes, hello and welcome to the Saturday edition of Off the Ball. Celtic Park might not have made it through unscathed, but we have. Tam, how was your Storm day?
Yeah, you better bring us right up to date with that because we are duty bound on national radio to be the newscasters as well today. So the Celtic game is off.
Yeah, I love that. We are duty bound, but you better do this.
The
Celtic game.
Well, you would sit in that seat. Don't start getting smart because it's your last week.
There's
your update for everybody's been asking me about Stuart.
Stuart, so hopefully back
Saturday,
next
February
Saturday.
the 1st.
Yes.
Stuart will be back next Saturday.
So Celtic Dundee's off. It failed a safety inspection around the ground. So
wait. And I've seen clips of bits falling off Ibrox. There's the only two grounds that I've seen this happening with in the top flight.
In the top flight, yeah, I think so.
So
yeah.
Docked 30 points each?
It'd be good. It's always Dundee that get caught up in this as well, isn't it? So yeah, that's been moved to I think the 5th of February, that game. And then last night, Arbroath against Kelty Hearts. So Charlie Magoo still not to make his debut
Arbroath against Kelty is now scheduled for Wednesday night in Stavanger, which is where Gayfield Park now is.
And that's the only two as far as we know.
That's sensational.
Ross County against Hibs had an early pitch inspection. There's chat of 900 Hibs fans travelling up to Dingwall in this weather. That is incredible if that happens.
And apparently if you're looking for an upset, when Celtic do play Dundee, I think the last time any structural damage put a game off at Celtic, it was the famous Super Cali Go Ballistic.
That's a great stat.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned that to me. That's been off the ball. I've not checked it, of course.
Okay.
I'm taking the person at face value this morning. It was one of my pals who's a Celtic fan, but he's neither your age. So
right, okay.
He was but a babe in arms when all that happened. But yeah, so structural damage and Celtic could maybe tee up a shock result.
That's weird because if we're going to talk about Celtic and past coincidences, we were talking about this earlier, the clip of when they last played Youngborns and they won, and it was an OG. It's so similar.
It's spooky. It was my same pal sent me this clip, and
that's probably
genuine.
25-30 years apart.
So they beat Young Boys 1-0 in midweek. Last time they played them, they beat them 1-0 as well, at home as well, in Europe, of course, as well. But it was almost like a carbon copy goal. It was an OG. Yeah. And it wasn't just an OG, like corner coming in and getting off a guy's shoulder. It was almost like a replica of that one the other night.
I was walking back to the tube. I was down in London and my mate Kevin was showing me that clip about 20 minutes after the game finished. I was like, how do people find this so quickly?
Oh, no, it's great. It's incredible. What I loved as well, never let it be said, and he tunes in, my old pal Tiger Tim. Hello to the Tiger, hope you're doing well, pal. A Scottish broadcasting legend. And again, the thing about that game back in the day, 1993, and somebody just tweeted this week, I saw, after Celtic won the game, that was for Tiger Tim.
So was that the game that got him his jotters?
I mean, how it gets back to the thing about, Paisley Panda winding up opposing fans with bars of soap.
I used to love the Paisley Panda.
Playing gypsies, tramps and thieves. Actually, I think both those examples, it was St Mirren Morton, was it?
I'd imagine it would be, yeah.
But of course, and it seems so tame, and even though things have got upset about more things now, this still actually seems tame. But what Tiger Tim had done, I think Rangers either played the night before or earlier that evening. They had been knocked out of Europe. Celtic had just beaten Young Boys of Bern, and Tiger Tim, who was doing the MC stuff, the PA Ibrox at Celtic Park, just said, well, there we go, big win, but we'll now have a moment's silence for Rangers, who were not, harmless guff.
Considering some of the stuff that would have been said in the stand that night, that is
he gets
nothing.
sacked on the spot. But anyhow, good on you, Tiger, if you're tuned in.
We're chatting, our first topic today is the Storm, you and your club, obviously. Yeah. Storm Awen yesterday ripping through Scottish schools being closed, and how that affected your club if you've had a Storm this week. Tam, let's do Motherwell first, because Stuart Kettlewell
Aye.
this week. Obviously,
Stormy weather.
Scottish
Fir
Cup.
Park.
What, 2,000 fans headed up the road last week?
Yeah.
A very disappointing performance. I was
It was
going.
quoted as 1,700, but then I'd heard folks saying, I heard somebody saying, was it somebody at the club as well? They reckon it 2,080 Motherwell fans made it. Now, the crowd was under 4,000, so Motherwell actually had the majority.
40
of
to
the
50%
support.
of that at least.
It was awful. We were terrible.
What did he say? Because do you know, we have
Right.
not seen the interview, but I've read the.
I know.
So what was his
Right,
quotes?
I've
What
been
did he say?
days to digest this and still a bit of me kind of split. But anyhow, here's a quote. You tell me from a neutral perspective
Yes.
and for a football fan, a Scottish football fan, just give me your reaction to this. The actual quote was, and this, remember, is a quote from an entire press conference before we take it out of context entirely. Motherwell manager Stuart Kettlewell reacts to criticism. Quote, I'll not be influenced by any noise or opinions from people who have never done the job and never dedicated their life to this game. Now, I'll give you my two take on it. First up, dedicated their life to this. Dedicated. It's like
That's
talking like Mother Teresa, right?
It's the phrase I'm writing down because
It's his job. He's been well paid compared to a lot of Motherwell fans, right? There's a lot of fans. Fans are always going to have opinions about